And you really cannot see it in this camera here
Uh-huh.
because you would see the word flick. But I don't even know how to explain to somebody how to set up a flick button.
Uh-huh.
But when I press this button
Yeah.
to start the show, we're here today. Thank you so much for coming. It is a great privilege to have here at my table my good friend and professional magician, Ben Robinson.
Hello.
Hi. You'll notice the green screen. I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to
No
press
problem.
this flick button that I
Flick.
told you about.
All right.
Once we get that over and see, we get the what you said.
Wow.
And we've got our little lower thirds happening.
Oh.
And I'm just sitting here. This is a one-man studio that I built.
This returns to a point that if you have something rare, are you jealous of it so you don't share it, or do you think it's so great and you endeavor to have some legacy of that great thing?
Oh, what a great juxtaposition. Yeah, totally. We don't know the answer. I don't feel jealous. I feel quite open to possibilities.
It's about sharing and how fast information moves. Not jumping ahead of our topic, but we talked about how many hours it takes for a baseball player, a ballerina, or a professional magician to learn their craft. Throw a baseball 90 miles an hour, dance on point for minutes and minutes and minutes, do any number of actions of sleight of hand boldly in front of the audience that they're not even aware of. And to have that experience requires repetition, time, and learning from failure. So if it's, I've heard, well, if it's on my iPhone, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, kids, but the 10 years I have in the trenches doing close-up magic in restaurants ain't on your iPhone, even if you hear about it. You have to go do it.
Right. Right.
So
that's hard to convey nowadays.
Exactly.
And what's weird is that it's hard to convey nowadays.
Right.
That's weird that it's hard to convey that.
Right.
Of all things, that should be easy to convey.
It seems to be that the joy that I thought I'd have and did have to some degree when I was 14, that if I, really worked my butt off as a magician, by the time I was 17, I would be the result of all that time, and I'd be such hot shit I'd get into theater school, which I did. But today, Warren Zane said of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, he goes, "You're the only band that was ever together 40 years. There's nobody getting together in their garage right now. They're going, yeah, let's be a band for 40 years. Doesn't exist.
Why is that?
Because no one wants to put the time in. And they don't see the attractiveness of having done something well for a long time. They want it yesterday. Come on, let's go. I'm living here."
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to even begin to deal with that world.
Well, obviously, now, in order to be a professional magician or even a do shows on the weekends and while you're doing your college or whatever, you've got to practice and you've got to have lots of repetition and rehearsal and study. You need study. You can't just do this without any study. It takes time.
You and I agree on that. Of course, we're products of that.
Mm-hmm.
However, everything's gotten faster. Since we've been sitting here, somebody who wasn't a billionaire became a billionaire.
Really? A billionaire?
Probably.
Right,
because some billionaire gave somebody $500 million and said, go do whatever you impressed me enough to give you this. And they're like, yeah, I'm a smart guy. And they did it. And it's like, hi, here's your $500 million back. I made that because I can move mountains and I knew that the oil was going to go out in that country. So I bought all of it. And so, yeah, thanks. And they think in these gigantic terms, and kids are seduced by that. Whereas what I was seduced by was the life of Howard Thurston.
Right. And so then we worked hard
to be that.
To be that, yeah.
Yeah.
Let me just fix the lighting here, okay? Now, everybody check this out. This is fun.
Amazing. Right, that's the one I love.
Ooh,
in the
nice.
background.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we like that.
Camera 2, I think.
Like, do you think there are such old ranting men now? These kids today, uh, how are they learning magic? And is the magic being taught to them by somebody who learned it for real? Like, are they
No,
qualified
see,
teachers?
there's a good point. Just naturally, you're telling me that, I mean, the answer is no. So what you're telling me is they're not learning it from a real magician,
A guy who
and they're
does
not
magic
learning
for a
it
living, or a
right, or
woman,
who
whatever.
really has it down.
Yeah,
They're learning it from this YouTube world,
right.
and I've been going there lately. You want to see some of the things?
No, I want to talk to you.
I don't either.
I don't.
You know
I
what
can't
mean?
handle
It's
it.
like I don't like it that much. I
Well,
don't.
here's my theory. They're influenced by the camera shot. They're not influenced by reality. Denny Haney, who had Denny and Lee's in Baltimore,
Yeah.
told me that like around the year 2000, there used to be this thing called jamming at magic stores. Like you'd go and hang out and you'd be magicians in front of each other and talk about your stuff. It was like called jamming or sessioning or just hanging out at the magic store. And he said what kids started to do in the year 2000s, they would do a trick or an illusion and they'd videotape it. And then they'd say, hey, do you do 20th Century Silks? And the guy goes, yeah, here, let me show it to you. And instead of doing it, he'd just show him his phone, his little video of it. So my point is, are they doing this for the camera shot or do they actually learn to do it for people?
They're doing it for the camera shot.
Yeah, to have their new toy at the club.
Yeah, and if they get it wrong live, they just show the friend the camera shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, what I meant was this.
Right.
Here.
And this was a mistake I made in the knife throwing world, unfortunately, that I figured I'd see some amazing shot and like, wow, this guy really has it together. I should contact him. He's a professional. He's not a professional. This guy changes copying machine interiors for a living and does this on the weekends, and he wouldn't have the slightest interest in doing this in front of people for money. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get something extraordinary and a guy to do it. And he's like, screw you. I got one shot of it on my iPhone. I'm done. I did the extraordinary.
Yeah, exactly. I did it once, and
it's forever done.
Yeah, and I can prove it.
It's a filmmaker's state of head. Except it's not, that's why I said, does it appeal to the camera shot? Is that why they're doing it? I don't know. It's not the way I was trained. Here how I was trained. I was trained to work years to get seconds.
Right, and that's what this studio that we're sitting in is.
It is.
Same
this
thing.
Is years to get seconds.
Years to get seconds. And then we don't know if there'll be, like, would there be tons and tons of those? We don't know. We assume not to start with.
Yeah.
But maybe.
Francis Ford Coppola says at the end of the Hearts of Darkness documentary, so his wife's interviewing him, and he's like, look, you spent through all this money, all this time, and you made this movie, and it's a thing, and it's 30 years later, what do you think? And so that came out in 79, 89, 99, 09. So they made this documentary in 10. Still, at the dawn of the iPhone, 2010, the iPhone had not shown up like it is now. And Coppola said, filmmaking will become an art when everybody has the same hardware and everybody makes movies. And he takes off his microphone, he throws it down, and he walks away. That's the end of the show.
Filmmaking will become an art?
It will become an art when everybody has the same tools and everyone makes a movie. In other words, he was saying, look, you're not going to stop people telling stories. And when they all have the same gear to tell a story, then it will be an art. Right now, it's a few filmmakers doing it, a few studios making it, but it hasn't influenced the culture. Now, I disagree with it, no doubt.
Are you saying that, I just don't quite follow this? Because it was an art before he said that.
Yes, it is, but he was saying the new filmmaking. He was saying based on the technology. He's saying that's when that technology will become an art. Do you see? It's going to change.
Yeah.
And when it changes and everyone's doing it. Now, here are a couple of broad differences just on the word art. One, Sidney Lumet made 40 films, Life Achievement, Academy Award, one of the greatest directors ever in the history of, whenever. He's asked by Tim Weiner of the New York Times documentaries, Sidney, does art change anything? And Lumet says, without missing a beat, he goes, no, nothing. And then Weiner says, well, then why do you do it? And Lumet says, because it is a wonderful way to live your life.
Mm-hmm.
And there's such wisdom in there because you do what you do, I do what I do. Is it driven by the dollar? Not for me, but there has to be the dollar for you too.
Yeah, that's the thing is you got to charge
but not
for it.
at the sake of selling, as Bogart says in Casablanca, a cut rate one. Like I'm not going to do a bad show for no money.
That's why it does cost money.
Yeah.
Because it is good.
Right. And if they say, well, what can I get for $200? I say, you should call somebody else.
Yeah. To find out what they can do.
Right. But that was when the art changed hands in my mind because now I had to charge for it. Now it was a job.
Right. That's been a good thing and a interesting thing to come out of. I never really quite saw how taking money for what I do affects what I do. Because I was doing what I do.
Right.
And then saying, here's what it costs.
Right.
But then in order to make a living, I had to say, you want this, you want this, you want this. And they said, yes, and we want this, and also this.
Uh-huh.
And so I had to do those because I was good, so I wanted to prove I could do it all. It was okay, but my choices were actually better than theirs, to be quite honest.
Of course they were.
Yeah, they really were. And if they had said, you know what, I don't want what I want what you tell me I should want.
Right.
They would have been way ahead. They would have gotten a lot more quality stuff. But they did it their way, and I had to do it. And I did, in fact, recently I did a presentation where there was some of that, and I decided not to let it bother me and just do whatever it took to be successful at the event.
Right.
And it felt fine because I care about the people and their interaction with magic. And I was constantly able to provide that.
Yeah.
They never took that away.
No.
So that's
well,
nice.
A sage comment made to me that put me in my place about being an artist was Jack Flosso said to me, Ben, look, they're either going to have you or more ladyfingers.
Who?
Jack Flosso, Al Flosso's son. He said they're
What?
either going to have you or more ladyfingers. Either you or more cookies.
Oh,
they have a budget for entertainment.
Right.
Cookies, ladyfingers are cookies.
Those funny cookies that no one really likes, but they fill you up if you eat enough of them.
Right. Not even a good cookie. But
they're not.
But the point came down to me is I was in the cookie budget. I wasn't an artist.
That's where a lot of my shows were also, in the cookie budget.
And I found, here's how I saw it. I patterned the career after Mulholland. It's like, look, you're a kid magician, you do schools because kids are in schools. Then you're in school, you've learned to do school magician. Now you're out of school, but you still go back to schools, but better schools and bigger schools because you understand schools and audiences. And once you're into schools and audiences, then you go to lectures, one-man shows.
Who, you? Lectures for magicians?
No,
lectures
on
schools.
Schools, selling my services. 2 keywords, everybody. Educational, entertainment. Educational, entertainment. I think you know something about this.
I kind of made a living doing that and corporate events. So.
Yeah.
But it wasn't that I needed both to do so well.
But,
I did so well in each is the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that I've learned recently. Self-care is not selfish.
Right.
Well, I know a guy who charged $4,000 an hour for doing magic, and when he arrived at the event, he only had his iPhone. All his magic was on his iPhone.
4,000?
They paid him $4,000
Don't tell me his name yet.
I won't. I don't know. I really don't even know his name, but I know the story is true because I know who wrote the check. And
Well, I've met a guy that does good magic um, on his iPhone. That's
right.
good enough to get that, but
I've
there's
seen
not
it
many.
done well
Not
here,
many.
and so I can't really go against it. I guess it's me as a professional magician saying, if it's a machine, I'm not gonna get magic out of that thing.
You know, this is an example of that school
It
show
is, and we
mentality.
should use
Yeah,
this as
you
a.
know, I'm not going to reveal it here,
No, we won't reveal how it works,
but I
but
am going to tell you about it just so
sure.
people know. This present is extremely cool. And
Mhm.
in fact, we can look at it sort of on the thing here. You see that on the program there?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
It's nice to be able to do that. And just to be able to show something here that we are talking about
Mm-hmm.
comes back to that reality thing. You know, I'm going to explain this in the future, but this is one of the best magic tricks I've seen with a pencil. We'll talk about it soon, but it's very special, and it goes to that thing of doing something really good with something affordable and easy for everyone to dig into that propels them to work hard at something.
Right, and
And
it's.
that's school.
I can say that having gone to the top of the mountain of creativity, that it's absolutely worth it because it's like having a baby, making a painting, creating a dance, creating a magic trick. It's yours. It came out of your head. It started as electrical impulses with chemicals, and all of a sudden there's a thing. And it doesn't have to even be a thing. It could be a way of doing something, but you're the one who thought of it. This is what we're fighting for. This is
Right.
human inspiration based on other knowledge. Now, that pencil, we won't tell what it does or give it
Not
away.
yet.
But what it is,
Yeah.
I'll just tell
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
The reason I was able to do that, like bang, coalesce, was because I had studied wand magic in Tarbell
Right.
and in pamphlets. And, you go see a guy and go, wow, nice wand move there, bro. And then,
Right.
and you build this reservoir inside your head. You're not even looking for it. And then all of a sudden you see a pencil and you go, that's a wand.
Yeah. Yeah, and a thimble, you look
Be-
at caps on things. The cap is a thimble, or in your case, rings and
Right.
other things like that. Yeah, magic changes how you see objects.
It certainly
Yeah.
does. There's a word, two words. I don't know if I came by them by magic text, but I had friends at Yale Architecture School, and they used these words, and they said, "You have this thing." And I didn't come up with it. They're like, maybe it's an architectural term, spatial acuity.
Yeah,
They're like, you
you've
have
got it.
spatial acuity. I think it's essential for a magician to have a spatial acuity because it's all based on timing and distance, right?
Right, right.
Hi, we're going to put this box in this stage, and this box is rigged this way. Now, when you walk by, it gets turned this way for that amount of time to the audience, and you got to be there to do it.
Right, right.
Spatial acuity. No, move it back a foot. And you
Right.
just know it.
You do know, you learn it, it becomes instinctive.
It does. But you still have to experience that. Well, you see a bill and a lemon there, they're going to be looking at this angle. That's not going to work.
Right,
You got to move that back so they can't have this angle.
right.
And I think all of this is being lost. One terribly horrible report. So I had a student,
That's really sad to
a
hear.
serious student. He had everything he needed to be a magician. One, he had unlimited wealth. He came from a very wealthy family, so he never had to work for a living. Two, his father abandoned him early because the father didn't care about the son. So he had a loss of a father figure, therefore seeking power from anybody who could give him power. Three, magic is a demonstration of power. Four, it was a rebellion against his mother, who he was upset with for the father leaving. So he had this massive anger, a desire for power, a lack of this and that, and unlimited cash to buy whatever he damn wanted.
You'd
So
think he'd become a great performer.
you would think. And one day I walked into his spoiled little bedroom to teach him his lesson weekly at Tuesday at 3 o'clock. And his father had bought him for his birthday the whole Tarbell series.
Which is a perfect idea.
Yeah, and the little boy looked at me and he goes, "There's nothing good in Tarbell. Can you teach me that thing?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like, "Hi, there's a big block of paper here that you're saying I have to read to get cool shit from. Can't you just give me the cool shit?" I'm like, "No, Sonny, you have to actually go extend yourself. You have to think, you have to do, you have to open a book, look at the picture of the hands, put your hands in that position, and go, what is he trying to tell me to do?"
That's exactly right.
And once you conquer those hurdles, and they are,
Yeah.
none of this is easy, by the way.
None of it's really actually easy.
But it's, for me, and I want your reaction to this. I was down for the gig. I was like, yeah, if I'm 14 and Doug Henning's 27, and in 13 years I'm 27, okay, I'll work those 13 years to be 27 to be Doug Henning.
Yeah. Yep.
Pretty simple.
Yep.
And I just said, okay, I'm going to do that. And kind of like, kind of like special needs attention. I didn't do anything else. It was just my mandate. And everyone said that I was crazy. Why would you ever do that?
Wow.
And I thought, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you work 13 years to become great? Like, that doesn't seem very long. People go to medical school for 8, 10 years sometimes. What's 13? Big deal. And I don't think, I was talking to several magicians, and they said the tragedy is, and I'm sure this is a nostalgic thought, there's no kid reading Tarbell by flashlight under the covers right now.
I've heard this before. That's true. And so we're really sounding like the old timers that I used to hear telling stories about, back when I was your age, we used to blah, 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 blah. I'd think, oh, bullshit.
Right.
We can do it too, right?
Yeah.
So they're doing that. The new kids today
Yes.
are telling people like us, oh, we can do it too. But they're wrong. In this one case of attention,
Yeah.
the cellular phone has changed our relationship to attention. Right now, of course, we're in a studio that's a one-man studio with an operator who's sitting in the same seat as the guy with the mic on his lapel, and we've got a green screen and a bunch of lights and cameras, and over here I have a control center. That it's all been designed so that one guy can do it. That takes attention, and it takes using these the right way, which is to not let them
control
take
you.
our attention.
Right.
But we put our attention toward what we want them to do.
Right.
And that's
It's
what
the
this place
human
is.
running
Yeah.
the machine, not the machine running the human.
Right.
May I
Right.
offer a brief...
Oh, I wanted to show you this special book
Yep.
that I just got from
Oh, there. Our
friend.
lovely assistant Barbara is here.
Yeah, you want to come on camera? Show everybody?
Hi, Barbara.
It's Doug Henning.
It's Doug Henning on the Tannins
My
catalog,
hero, my
famous
hero.
with Debbie.
And
Oh
look
my
at
God, look at it. It says
the
magic.
pages.
Somebody did that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Somebody did that.
insane. Look at that.
It says
They
magic.
carved it out.
Yep. And they carved it out, and it's
Oh, that is
it's not even carved, actually.
amazing.
It's folded.
Or full.
So each page is actually
Oh, that
folded.
is. I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, exactly what I thought.
That is fantastic. I'm glad you have that.
Yeah, and it feels good to have this. My friend who gave it to me, you met him.
Brian Ledbetter.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, exactly.
Brian gave that to you?
Yeah, he
I
found
love
it.
the O on the top of the I.
Yeah.
That is really something.
And for those who've never actually seen
A Tannins.
exactly a Tannins catalog, they put, in this case, our hero on there and his wife,
Yeah.
Debbie. And, these are real tricks you can buy.
This is the way it used to be. You get one
Yeah.
of these books. You'd buy
You'd
this
read
thing.
every single one of these.
Yeah, and you just drool over being able to do it. The pop-up tie, forget about it.
Yeah, all these tricks, we used to purchase them, and they'd come to us, and
you'd have to write it on a piece of paper and send it in the mail and hope somebody got your message in a bottle.
mm-hmm.
I guess you could call them up, but still.
I really like having this.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's really wonderful.
Yeah,
right? A video theater?
Well, we should give our great quote about the 4 founders of United Artists were Douglas Fairbanks, his wife Mary Pickford, Charlie Chaplin, and D.W. Griffith, who made Intolerance and many other movies.
I'm going to put your name on. You're doing so well.
And Griffith said, someday, and this is 1914, something, whatever, he said, someday people won't go to the movies. They'll have movie theaters in their houses. He predicted the home theater 100 years before it happened. And the reason I sort of seize on this is that, again, it's like what Coppola said. They're talking about film changing the way we live. Art is changing reality. You have to have this art thing. It's very important for us to have all these screens to be able to comment on each other and ourselves repeatedly, the selfie. And he knew this. He knew the power that this is going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And here it is.
Here it is.
Here it is.
We're living it. And this really, I've had quite a bit of time just feeling the space here. Like I started with this used to be a place where I would come, all my stuff that's organized out there used to be here.
Right.
All those wire shelves and everything.
Right, I remember
I had
them.
it all organized. I would come in, park back there, get ready for the next tour.
Yep.
Then I would go out on tour, come back and restock and reset. This was full.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At COVID, I moved, first of all, everything out.
Yes.
That was, even if I knew I wanted it in, it went out.
Amazing.
It was an empty space so that I could put first the brick. Because I saw all these podcasts and they were all the good ones were in brick rooms. So I put some fake brick and painted everything black and green. I painted this wall
brick and
green.
Black works.
And started from there, but it took a long time to find the positioning to get this, even just to get this moving camera.
Right.
And figure out, how am I going to use this? Where?
Right. Well, you just have to play with it first. I love that one. I love being on Mars.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we could just leave that forever, I love that.
Yeah.
Maybe we get some. So, remember the commercial was like, yes, our data 4K network is what you're paying 50% more for, but here it is. They like show all these pictures of things lighting up on the planet. Oh yeah, give me that. Give me the lighting up planet part. I'll pay for that. Oh my God. Here's what I think, real short. Ray Bradbury's novel Fahrenheit 451 shows men in the woods preserving books because there is a police state that burns all books.
Right.
And so only the people who read those books know what's in them before the ultimate destruction of those books by the bad guys. And I sort of feel like we're there right now. And I'm not talking about book burning from libraries or anything.
No, because Tarbell exists. It's even on their phones.
Right, but they're not going there, and they're not synthesizing the information properly by accepting failure. See, did you know that in like high school foot races and something, everybody wins? Everyone gets a trophy? The guy who comes in last. Hey, you came in last. Here's your trophy. Oh, wrong, and more wrong. And the reason it's wrong is because it's saying, oh, you sucked, but here's something good for it. Whereas that used to be reserved for the head of the line, the guy who worked hardest. So his hardest work is being demeaned by making it for everybody. There's no special accomplishment if everybody gets one.
Plus, I've found that I have to fail in order to get any good show.
Right, you
I
have
had to fail
learn what was wrong with the stew to take out that ingredient. It's like, oh, there it is. Now it's right. But that's not happening. What's happening is somebody goes, I got a credit card, give me a miracle. That's about as far as it
Right.
goes.
Right. Attention isn't put on things in the right way anymore.
Well, one comment from you, sir, and we will wrap up. But the question is worth. And I learned, I say very cynically, unfortunately, but that you could sell a $10,000 show easier than you could sell a $500 show. And the reason is because the buyer who had 10,000, 50,000, or $5 million didn't care about the price. They just wanted the better thing. And in our society, the thing that's better costs more.
Mm-hmm.
So what they were really chasing was the better thing. And that thinking of something that was more expensive is better is antithetical to the kid with the deck of cards in his hand looking at the Royal Road of Car Magic going, what is he saying?
Oh.
It's absolutely the opposite.
But
And
it took that for me to get good enough to be worth the money.
right, but that is because you have morals saying I had to get good enough. Today, it's, yeah, I'm a magician, pay me.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no road to perfection. It's give me perfection right away. Oh, that didn't work out. I guess I'm not a magician anymore. Okay, I'll go sell cars. And it's not the life quest or the hero's journey or the shamanic journey, really. It's some sort of perversion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that distresses me enormously.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen that many bad magic shows?
Yes.
I used to walk out on them, but I found a.
You forced yourself to see what was wrong.
I've finally I'm finally willing to look at a few of them, I guess, and and the one thing I'll say is those guys don't pack near the equipment I pack.
You
And
mean
with
the
that,
amount of,
yeah, the
or
amount
the
of
quality of?
the amount of equipment. Yeah, I bring in
Yeah.
a lot of stuff.
You do.
Yeah.
I've been on load-ins with this man.
Yeah.
Cart O stuff.
I like to have lots of good stuff.
No, you should. And it was remarkably, that great line, my backups have backups. You do that.
Yes, because I bring in more than I need.
Yes, and therefore you won't really encounter problems. No, it's very intuitive and very good, and you're ready with the right stuff because you have the right stuff.
Yes, I have the right stuff. I bring it with me and I'm ready to go. And that's going to be a wrap for now. We will be back with more in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.
Goodbye.
We're heading out now.
Ciao.